Welcome back, and today we'll be discussing the Columbian Exchange. The Columbian Exchange was a process of transferring plants, microbes, animals, and people across the Atlantic Ocean on both directions, from Europe to the Americas and vice versa. This process all took place from 1492 to the 1800s. The European colonies' growth resulted in the growth of trade volume and area. From the 1500s to the 1800s, about 10 million enslaved Africans were brought to the Americas to work. The exploration of these new trade routes were a result of the Europeans looking for their own trade routes, as the ones that already existed were owned and controlled by the Italians and Ottomans. This search for new trade routes led to the 300 years of exploration that followed, which ultimately reshaped the economy and the world. For this reason, it's also known as the Commercial Revolution. The new land and routes found by Europeans provided them with new economic opportunities in new land, which ultimately led to the creation of colonies which were used as trade network outposts. With all this new money, the Europeans also created new money practices, which are actually still used to this day, like the idea of buying company shares. Ultimately, the Europeans became rich and from their newfound routes and land profited massively. The effect of the Columbian Exchange was world-changing. The New World offered New World foods that were interchanged, like tomato, corn, potatoes, and sweet potatoes, which were very calorie dense and fed many people. These new foods resulted in the biggest spike of population growth in Europe and Africa. The Americans received cattle, sheep, pigs, and horses, which played a big role in the way Native Americans traveled and hunted. The pigs were also very crucial as they ate anything and multiplied quickly, which were an important food source. The horses, like I stated, played a big role in the Native Americans as they allowed the Native Americans to travel for more miles and quickly and to hunt easier. Although much good came out of the Columbian Exchange, there was also many bad side effects. Along with the transfer of food, people, and animals, there was also the transfer of microbes and diseases from the old world to the new world, which were the Americas. These diseases killed many of the people of America as the Americans were weaker, their immune system, as they weren't close to living near each other and they weren't close to living near animals like the Europeans were. It's said that within the 100 years of Columbus landing in Hispaniola, about 90% of the people who lived in the Americas died from diseases. Another example of this is Mexico, whose population went from 25 million in the 1500s all the way down to 1 million by the year 1630. There were also many bad side effects having to do with the Native Americans, as many tribes died from major disease outbreaks, whether it was from measles, smallpox, or typhus. Apart from all this, another bad effect was that the Columbian Exchange had some Europeans wanting to use Native Americans as slaves, which resulted in the creation of encomiendas, which were meant to protect Native Americans, but many Europeans abused the Native Americans. This began the transportation of West Africans to the Americans, and they were put to work, and some were even transported to the Caribbean to work in sugar plantations. And that is what is known today as the Columbian Exchange. Who who took who was a part of this exchange process, what took place, why, when, and the good and bad effects. Ultimately, the Columbian Exchange did much good for the world and changed it massively, but it also had many bad effects and caused many deaths of many people.